Hello, good afternoon. This is David Sutter talking to you, and today is my weekly trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of September 2nd through September 6th, 2019. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the previous week, which is August 26th through August 30th, and I'm just going to look and see what has happened this past week, and then give you my analysis based on higher time frames, what I think is going to happen this coming week. Okay, so to begin with, I want to look at the first three major pairs, which is Euro USD, Pound USD, and Australian Dollar US Dollar. Okay, and we look at these pairs here. The Euro USD has been in a slump this past week. It has slowly dropped off, and so has the Great British Pound. Now we have some spikes, as you can see, but overall the Great British Pound has actually dropped compared to the US dollar. And the same thing with the Australian Dollar US Dollar. Okay, it has more or less been in a range of market as the two pairs fight against one another, but overall the Australian dollar did drop against the US dollar. Now what all this means is that if these pairs are dropping, the US dollar is going back up. Okay, so if we look here on the US dollar Swiss franc, for example, we see that it's steadily gained, right? US dollar Canadian dollar, same thing, it actually gained. Now it's been past few days, it was in a range of market, if you will, but overall it did gain. And the same thing with the US dollar Japanese yen. Okay, so start with, I want to look at the Euro US dollar on some higher time frames and kind of give you an idea of what I think is going to happen this coming week. Okay, and according to the 4-hour chart, we hit a pretty strong level of support. Okay, and you see this past week it just dropped off, right? And look on the daily, you have a strong, it shows a strong buy, which means that it's a very strong level of support. And the same thing with the weekly. Okay, now it has been showing this for the last couple weeks that it wants to go up. Despite that it wanted to go up, it actually did drop some. Okay, so overall all the higher time frames are pointing up. Okay, even the monthly has an up arrow. So long term, this is definitely going to be going up. Okay, even the 1 hour shows up. So my predictions for this coming week is that this is definitely going to be going up. I would be looking for buy opportunities only. Okay, I would not be looking to sell the Euro US dollar. Okay, and with the Great British Pound US dollar, we see pretty much the same thing. This has actually dropped off. It's been more or less in a range of market the last couple of days, but if we look at the higher time frames, okay, on the 4-hour chart, we see here that let me look at my indicator. It has it's showing it wants to go down, but overall, like the daily and weekly show a strong signal to buy. Okay, so the long-term trend on the Great British Pound US dollar is bullish. Okay, so even though on the short term right now it's kind of showing that it wants to go down, I would definitely be looking to buy only. Okay, the 1 hour shows it wants to go up, and the 4 hour shows it wants to go down. So the beginning of the week, probably about Monday, you should see this drop some more, but I feel very strongly that this will be going up. Okay, and based on higher time frames. So if we look here on the daily, we see like, oops, let me do it again. We see a strong uptrend right now. Okay, if I draw a up arrow like this, all the points are touching on this trend line. So to me, this is not finished going up. Okay, it already hit this trend line and is already starting to bounce back up. So what that means in the long run is that this will definitely be going back up. So again, look for buy opportunities only for the Great British Pound US dollar. Okay, moving on to Australian US dollar. Okay, we see that it's more or less been in a flat range of market this past week, but it did drop off, as I already stated. And if we look at the higher time frames, okay, we see that it is pretty much at a strong level of support, and that it is definitely wanting to go up. Okay, we have an up arrow here. If we look at the daily, we see kind of the same thing, right? We have the strong level of support that it hit, and it's been pretty much right in this range right here, and not really going to an uptrend like we like it to. And that's because the US dollar has been really fighting back. So as you can see, the last few days this past week, it did drop off, but it's hitting this same level of support in this area. So again, it's going to definitely will be shooting back up. If you look at the weekly, again, you know, you see a pretty strong level of support. Okay, so with the Australian dollar, US dollar, I would definitely be looking for buy opportunities only. Okay, and moving on to US dollar Swiss franc, as I stated earlier, this has definitely been going up this past week, but like we know in Forex, anything that goes up must come down, right? So if we look at the higher time frames, okay, look at the higher time frames, let me look at the indicator again, we see that this has hit a strong level of resistance, okay, and pretty much hit it like a plateau, okay. So I feel very strong that this will be coming down this week. The daily shows up, but the weekly shows down, okay. So, and even the monthly, okay. So it's been riding in this range right here for the last few weeks, the last month or so, and like I said, it's been fighting really hard and does not want to go down. But this US dollar is already slated to go down. Donald Trump has been fighting with the Feds, trying to get them to raise interest rates, and the Feds want to lower the interest rate. And because of all this bickering, the US dollar has weakened as a result. You know, even though this past week it did shoot up, but overall the dollar has in fact weakened. Okay, and if I draw a trend line right here, we see that these points pretty much line up. This is your level of resistance right here, and it's showing a really strong downtrend. This candle right here on this weekly, this past week, shot up, touched this trend line, and it's starting to come back down now. Okay, so I would be looking for sell opportunities only for the US dollar Swiss franc. Okay, moving on to US dollar Canadian dollar. This is a little bit different, but again, this has steadily gained this past week. Now these two currency pairs are pretty strong in each other, and they're both North American currency pairs. So we can tell that, you know, there's still going to be a lot of fighting going on between these two pairs. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we kind of see that it's hit a strong level of resistance here that it's hit several times before, and will or should be going down this coming week. Okay, I do not expect any strong downtrends this week. Okay, the daily shows up arrow right here and has not formed any down arrows yet, so it still could go up. Okay, if we look at the weekly, all we see is a down arrow here, but I don't see any strong downtrends that I could draw. Okay, still I would be looking for sell opportunities only for the US dollar Canadian dollar. We can expect more of a ranging market this week, this coming week, as these two pairs fight one another. Okay, and the US dollar is definitely going to fight to gain position, to gain strength, but the Canadian dollar is fighting also. So, you know, I cannot say 100% that this will go to a downtrend, but based on this level of resistance, this plateau, if you will, I do expect this to be dropping this week. So stick to sell opportunities only for the US dollar Canadian dollar. Okay, and last is US dollar Japanese yen. Kind of the same situation. It says overall gain this past week, but if we look at the 4-hour chart here, okay, we see a strong buy, right? But we also see this level of resistance that it hit, okay, and it started to work its way back down. If you look at the daily, you know, we see an up arrow, and the weekly also, okay. So long term, this will be going up, okay? And the US dollar Japanese yen pretty much normally has an inverse relationship from the other USD pairs, okay? So if the US dollar Swiss franc, for example, is going down, I like to use that as a gauge, but if the US dollar Swiss franc is going down, the US dollar Japanese yen should be going up, okay? It's just the nature of this particular currency pair, okay? So with the US dollar Japanese yen, I would more than likely be looking for buy opportunities instead of sell, okay? I would be looking for this one to be going up, okay? Now, that's not guaranteed, but if you stick to buy opportunities only, you pretty much have a fighting chance if you trade this currency pair. If you look right here, I know there's a mark right here, but if I draw from here up, we see a strong uptrend, okay? And it already touched this and bounced back up, okay, on the 4-hour chart. So long term, I feel that this definitely will be going up, okay? All the higher time frames are pointing up, so we can expect this to definitely be gaining, all right, this coming week. So that is my basic analysis. Please come to me if you have any questions about this analysis, or if you have any questions about any other currency pairs. There's so many different currency pairs. I cannot give analysis on all these different currency pairs. They all kind of behave similar, but like Euro GBP is definitely going to be totally different because it's not related to the US dollar. Okay, it's not tied to the US dollar. But again, if you have any questions about this or any other currency pairs, please feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. There is a link below in the description of this video for my personal Facebook. You can contact me there. Also, there is a link for my private Facebook group, and you can join my Facebook group and post any questions or comments in my Facebook group. That way, myself and other traders, we can all collaborate together and have an open discussion about what you think might happen, or any possible scenarios, okay, that could possibly happen this coming week. So with that said, just let me have any questions. I'll be more than happy to help you and help you on your path to success in Forex. Okay. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this, and just let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.